So this short video is about compound sentences. So what are compound sentences? Well, compound sentences are when you have two simple sentences and they're joined with a conjunction. Now we have done this already last term, but it's good to revise and go back over so we can really develop our sentence work. So let's take a couple of examples from the ones I put on the assignment. Here we've got a sentence starter. Mr. Weasley's party kept climbing. Okay. Now we've got to think to ourselves, right, we've got that one there. What could we put with it? Well, if we look through the other selection, we will be looking at the other group. We've got to find ourselves one about Mr. Weasley's party kept climbing. Right, and then we've got to choose an appropriate sentence. So here is another one. At last, they reached the top of the stairs. Okay. Now, at the moment, that isn't a compound sentence because we've got one there and then we've got another sentence there. If we were to join those two together, then they wouldn't make any sense. So if we were to put them like this, then we have got Mr. Weasley's party kept climbing. At last, they reached the top of the stairs. It feels like there's a little bit missing, and that little bit missing goes just there. Now, in that place, we can have a conjunction. Okay, and here we have one, and we can pop that in. So now, when we have those two sentences come together, let me pull that out a little bit, we have got Mr. Weasley's party kept climbing, and at last they reached the top of the stairs. Now, it's possible for you to move these sentences around and make up as many silly ones or funny ones as you can, and you can change them around. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't work. So it means that if we put this one here, we know we could deal with Mr. Weasley's party, so we know there's more than one. So it's Mr. Weasley and a group of others. So we've got Mr. Weasley's party kept climbing, and what we could have, if we chose this one and then added here, Mr. Weasley's party kept climbing and she still could not get the spell to work. That doesn't really make much sense. It joins together, but what's the second part got to do with the first part? So as a sentence, you're thinking to yourself, I don't understand what that's about. So some of them don't work together, but others of them do slot naturally together and you're able to make a sentence. Sometimes you're able to make up a silly sentence, something that sounds funny or makes sense, but makes you laugh when you do it. And so you might be able to put something together like that. But what we're looking for is one clause, one sentence. We've got the joining word, and then we've got the next sentence that would go with it. So in our case, we chose, at last, they reached the top of the stairs. By putting that together, we then have a sentence that makes sense as a whole. So Mr. Weasley's party kept climbing and at last they reached the top of the stairs. So what I want you to do here is to take this knowledge of understanding that a compound sentence is two sentences joined together with this joining word. And I want you to make up as many as you can from the sentences that I've put on the assignment from the two groups. Choose the first part of the sentence, so that's this part from the first group, and then choose one from the second part, the second group, as your last part of the sentence. And that way, by putting them together, you'll be able to make up some sensible sentences and some silly sentences and hopefully have a little bit of fun with it. But above all, understand how a compound sentence is put together, the structure of it, and so you can do that independently. All right, well, I hope this has helped with your particular assignment, and speak to you soon.